Real Screeners are back, guys, and we are on day 7 of our staycation slash self-quarantine, which is why Beto and I cannot be together. So we did this video conference because the show must go on, right, Beto?
That's right. Real Screeners will not stop. We can't go to the movie theaters for a while, but you know what? We figured, why not liven up people's lives by giving you our top 10 funniest movies of all time? We all need a little laughter nowadays, so here we go.
Yeah, and we do want to let you guys know that our top 10 isn't so much like the best crafted comedies of all time or even the best rated comedies. It's what made us laugh the most. So
That's
our
right.
funniest, like you said. My number 10 is a movie that kind of I thought was like every kid's stay-at-home dream until it turns scary, right? And can you imagine, do you know what it is?
I recall every kid's stay-at-home dream until it turns scary. Home
Yeah.
Alone? Home
That's
Alone?
right. Home Alone.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Macaulay Culkin. And what I liked, I guess what I remember the most about it is that one scene that when he was watching that black and white gangster movie, and the guy said, I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get
To
your
get your
ugly,
lousy, oh yeah,
yellow,
ugly.
yeah, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
That's right. Yeah, man. A Christmas classic, no doubt. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And also very
my
funny.
son loves that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's timeless, right? Like it's a movie that we keep revisiting with our
Mhm.
families again and again. And that's funny because my number 10 movie so happens to also be a Christmas classic, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
with
Okay. I
Chevy
enjoy those.
Chase. Yeah, and Beverly D'Angelo. I mean, talk about laugh out loud from start to finish. This family is going through the motions. They're having family over. It's really
Hmm.
relatable because it shows you what the holidays are really like sometimes, which can be like really
Yep.
chaotic and hectic.
All right, so going down to my number 9, I have The Princess Bride, which
Oh,
I don't know how many people would have that on their list, but for me, again, I'm a very nostalgic kind of guy, and of course, I watched that when I was
interesting.
young. To me, it was a humorous take on the hero's journey,
Okay,
and then of course you have the
sure.
underrated Robin Wright, Jenny before she was Jen A, and
That's
then
right.
Carrie Ells, who went on to do all these other comedies. Of
And let's not
course,
forget Mandy Patinkin.
that's right, because he's the one that taught me how to threaten someone if they ever wanted or if they ever did kill my father, right?
Yes, prepare to
And
die.
that's right. And what was the other line he said? It was, "I do not think that word means what you think it means."
Oh,
Yep.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
All right, so my number 9 is Mel Brooks's Spaceballs.
Good choice, my sir. Good
Right?
choice.
Right? Of
Yes.
course. I mean,
Yep.
who doesn't love Spaceballs, man? This is a great parody slash spoof of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You have Bill Pullman in the lead role. You have Princess Vespa, spoiled brat Princess
Mhm.
Vespa. You have Yogurt, Mel Brooks himself playing Yogurt. May the Schwartz be with you. John
Yes, what's
Candy as Barf, Pizza the
the
Hut. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Memorable moments, breaking the fourth wall. This movie brilliantly breaks the fourth wall, and that's one of the greatest things about it.
My number 8 is a movie that has an iconic 90s actor. It is Jim Carrey at his hilariously finest. It is Ace Ventura, Pet
Pet
Detective.
Detective.
I mean, he's obviously super silly, right? I mean, you like him for other movies. I love him for this movie. And one scene that I always was rewinding on my VCR, because that's how old it was, right? How
Yeah.
old it is.
Yeah, of
Was that
course.
scene when he was in the mental institution and he
Yep.
was acting like a football player with his football and his tutu. And he was on the bench saying, "Put me in, coach. Put me in." And then and then he went on to say, he was going through like the motions, and he said, "Let's see that in instant replay."
Yeah, such
Where's that rule?
number 8, right? Number 8.
Yes, número
Number
ocho.
8 is Austin Powers.
Oh gosh,
International Man of Mystery.
I
I mean,
cannot
man,
believe
I
I.
grew up. I grew up watching Austin Powers. I just love James Bond.
Yeah.
I grew up watching James Bond as well. So this is, the ultimate spoof on the James Bond movies. Mike Myers playing dual roles, Austin Powers, and of course the unforgettable Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley is her reactions to
Mhm.
all of his sexual innuendos, in the movie. Just a great comedy, raunchy, but still a PG-13 rating, which I
Very
found.
tasteful, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go overboard with it. So I think that it is a classic comedy. That is my number 8.
Yeah, there were a lot of things in that movie to laugh at,
A
right?
lot.
My number 7, which I meant not to forget, because how could you forget a 1984 classic in The Ghostbusters? Yeah, The Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams, Beto, don't do it.
Are you a god?
I mean, you have some of the best actors assembled in a blockbuster movie, right? Especially in
Yeah,
the '80s.
Bill
Yeah,
Murray.
Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd,
great cast.
all those
Yep.
guys.
Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Rick Moranis is Keymaster finding his gatekeeper and Sigourney Weaver.
that's
Mm,
right. Are you the
yeah,
keymaster?
there was a lot to like in that movie for sure.
So my number 7, man. I'm a big fan of The Hangover, but
Mhm.
I venture to say
Who's
that
not?
there is a better version of The Hangover. I want to call it. It is the female
Okay.
version of The Hangover.
Huh.
It is filled with a great SNL cast, including
Oh, okay.
Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, and the highlight of this movie, of course,
Melissa
is Melissa
McCarthy.
McCarthy. That's right. Yeah, she was Oscar nominated for this movie. It is Bridesmaids. I was
Very good. Yeah.
laughing in the theater so hard at this movie. I was glad that a female, star-studded cast, managed to make such a great comedy that is very authentic, very real. Of course, you have your absurd situations, but it doesn't get more real than this when it comes to, how women behave in a situation where they're invited to be bridesmaids. So it's a great
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Could get a little crazy. Could be.
a little crazy. Yeah,
And there
yeah,
are
yeah.
parts that when,
Especially when you
sometimes in
have
life,
drinks on a plane to Las Vegas. Yeah,
sometimes you just are ready to party.
party.
My number 6 is a movie that stars a guy that I'm sure you're not, you know, very thrilled about. You don't really like his movies, but he does it for me, and it is Ben Stiller in the movie Derek Zoolander. I can't even do it, man. But anyway,
Yeah,
how could
yeah,
you not like
yeah.
the guy that made duck faces popular before there was even a duck face to be talking about on social
No,
media?
yeah.
It's a laugh out loud movie. You have Will Ferrell playing Mugatu, talking about how Hansel he's so hot right now, and then Mila Jovovich with Katinka Inga
That's
Magovna. Nah,
right,
nah.
Yomamuchi. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people that love that movie.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I have to rewatch it. I have to give it another view. I've only seen it once, so I'm going to
yeah.
do that.
It is a hilarious satire on the modeling industry, guys. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It is silly. I wasn't too jazzed about it the first time, but then after that, I could not stop watching it. So give it at least 2 tries.
Awesome, man. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going on to my number 6 now.
All
It
right.
is a great satire, unapologetically racy and subversive,
Your
and
favorite.
it's yeah, 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 and it's about kind of like making fun of actors and making
Mhm.
fun of special interest groups and different ethnicities and races, and it was
Sounds like my
a
kind of
little
movie.
controversial
Not
when
for
it
the
came
races, but
out, but Robert Downey Jr. had me
okay.
rolling as a method actor in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh
yes.
man,
Talk about
Tropic
laughing in
Thunder.
the theater.
I think it's Robert Downey Jr.'s one of his
Yeah.
best performances. I really liked it.
Do you mean when he was being the dude, playing the dude, trying to be the other
Trying to
dude?
do the other dude.
My number 5 is a movie that stars a guy who was, I guess you can consider him like the Houdini of ditching school. It was a coming of age story that was a basically disguised as a manual for how to ditch school, right? It's the
That's
80s
right.
classic Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Of course, you can't forget the line where the teacher says, anyone, Bueller. See that connects to me as a teacher because sometimes I feel like, I get that from my students, not because I suck as a teacher, but because I kind of think that sometimes the kids just tune you out no matter what.
Yeah,
But
that's true,
yeah,
man.
I throw that line out there and maybe like 2 or 3 kids get it. So people,
I mean,
y'all need to watch this movie.
it's a classic 80s comedy. There were a lot of teenage comedies that came out of the 80s, and that's definitely one of the best ones. My number 5 is directed by Mike Judge, who is best known for writing Beavis and Butthead. And this is a movie that, if you have ever worked in an office, in a
Oh,
cubicle, if you have ever worked an office job that you find tedious, that you find frustrating, and you just
yes.
felt like just telling your boss off and just running out, Office Space. Wow, Office Space caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, great cast all around. Again, an off the wall comedy with dark humor, black humor in it.
Mhm.
I love the part where they beat the crap out of the printer, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. To the song "Die Mother Beep." I can't say it right.
yes,
It's
yes.
PG-13. My number four is a movie that, again, stars one of your favorite actors. It's a movie whose persona really is, I guess, modeled after my favorite football player of all time, Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. Bam! I'm talking about the one and only Bobby Boucher in the movie The
The
Water
Water
Boy.
Boy. Yeah,
That's right.
yes, yes,
Where
yes.
everything in that movie was about tackling and about drinking some high quality H2O.
H2O. Going back to the 80s, nostalgia. This is a
Mhm.
family film for me. I'm talking about Coming to America. How can I not have
Coming
an Eddie
to
Murphy movie on my
America.
list, man? Eddie Murphy, charismatic all throughout, carries this movie. A great supporting cast all
Yeah.
around. James Earl Jones. I forget the name of the actor that plays his best
Arsenio
friend, or
Hall.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But a great love story, but also a movie about culture clashes and the
Mhm.
comedy that ensues because of that culture clashing. And I loved it.
So my number three is a Mel Brooks classic. It's a movie that Betho mentioned a couple spots earlier. It is the one and only Spaceballs. Yeah, I love that movie because, again, it was during a time when you could be politically incorrect and no one was going to bash you over the head over it. There wasn't People weren't as sensitive as they are now. So I like that kind of humor. They poke fun at all different things in life, and of course, like you said, Star Wars.
Yeah, it makes, now that
Pizza
you
the Hut.
mention it, now that you mention
Yeah.
it, I remember, man, that movie makes a lot of fun of gender roles,
Oh yeah,
very much
easily.
so. Yeah. My number three is a cult classic.
Okay.
It is The Dude. The Dude
Oh yeah, the dude.
Abides. It is The Big Lebowski. The
Oh,
Big
the one and only
Lebowski.
dude.
The Coen brothers, man, they're, in my opinion, their greatest comedy. Of course, Raising Arizona is a close second,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, great supporting cast. Once again, you have John Goodman as the gunslinger, and you have John Turturro playing Jesus, the Jesus man, the
The
bowler.
Jesus Bowler.
Yeah, dude, and quirky characters, funny situations all around, crazy, trippy movie, just about going
Yeah.
with the flow. And the dude, man, the
And about
dude.
someone's carpet
Someone
or their
peed on my
rug, their
rug,
rug or something.
man.
Yeah. Moving on to my number two. It's a movie again that you stole from me earlier in your list. It is obviously an Eddie Murphy classic. It is Coming to America, guys. Again, one of those movies I could quote endlessly. It also had Samuel L. Jackson in there.
Young Samuel L.
trying to
Jackson.
attempting to rob the McDowells, but of course, Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall were too much for him. They would have actually ended him sooner. But the one guy who was the heir to the what was it, the Soul Glow, he couldn't help them because he was holding a cup of coffee. Forgot to mention that Eddie Murphy, he's again, it's like the intro to how he can play all these different characters, right? Like in the barbershop. So
Yep.
you
Yep.
see that later in the Nutty Professor and so on. So
My number two is a spoof. It's a spoof on the Airport film series. It is a spoof on
okay,
Jaws. It is a spoof on Saturday Night Fever. It is a spoof on a lot of movies. The movie had mixed reviews when it came out, but I found it hilarious from beginning
I
to
think I
end.
know what it is.
It is Airplane.
Yeah, okay,
Airplane.
all right.
Memorable one-liners. My favorite is Leslie Nielsen in this movie. Surely you
Mhm.
can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call
And
me
don't call me
Shirley.
Shirley. Down to our number ones, and I have a feeling that Though has no idea what my number one is.
I have no
So my
idea.
number one
No
is a
idea.
movie that at the time took raunchy to a whole nother level and is still knocking it out to this very day. It is South
Knocked
Park,
up.
bigger, longer, and uncut.
South
Yes,
Park,
Seth Rogen.
bigger, longer, and uncut. Wow. I
Yeah.
had, wow. I would have never thought.
Well,
South Park. Wow.
there's a lot with South Park. I mean, I don't watch it anymore because I'm a family man. I can't be watching that stuff anymore, right?
Yeah, you
But
can. You
but at
can
the but
sneak. You can sneak a peek. You
yeah.
can.
Well, at the time, I was younger, and it was crazy. You talk about a movie that was funny because of it was a satire. It was politically incorrect. It was
Smartly
just
written.
generally
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I had iconic
Biting, dark
songs
humor,
like
satire. Yeah.
that song when Cartman is ragging on Kyle's mom. I'll never forget that. Then of course,
Okay.
poor Canada. Canada took a beating in
Blame
this movie, right?
Canada,
Yeah,
blame Canada. So my number one, it's a family favorite. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it so many times, and I'm talking, of course, about the ultimate parody spoof of the Frankenstein films of the 30s. I am
right.
talking about Mel Brooks's Young
We
Frankenstein.
have a winner.
It's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Walk this way,
Man,
Beto. Walk this way.
Walk the yeah, actually, I read that Aerosmith's "Walk This Way" was inspired by Igor's, "Walk This Way." So so many memorable
Yeah.
one-liners in this movie. I could go
Rolling
on
see
and on.
hey, rolling
Great
see hey.
cast: Gene Wilder going crazy, Peter Boyle as the monster, Terry Garr,
Uh,
Madeline Kahn. A great cast all around.
it is excellent.
Awesome comedy.
Can't argue with that.
Love it.
Can't argue. We hoped we gave you guys maybe some levity during these trying times, whether you're self quarantining or whether you're just bored out of your mind and you're by
Yeah,
yourself and you have I don't know nothing to do because you're not working. We hope we gave you guys some moments to laugh,
to
maybe
laugh,
take a stroll down
revisit these
memory lane.
movies.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
leave a comment down below. Let us know what
Right.
your comedy favorites are and if you agree with our lists.
Don't forget that we're on social media. On Facebook, we are at Real Screeners, and on Instagram, we are at Real.Screeners.
That's right. And don't forget to click that bell button and that subscribe button. And stay tuned next time for some more real takes on movies during quarantine
That's
season,
right.
coronavirus.
See you on day 14 or day 78. Who knows?
On my number 9 spot is Mel Brooks's Spaceballs. Dun 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 dun. Why'd you freeze, Lenny? You froze. You froze. Like your image is frozen. This is you right now. It's frozen.